Welcome back, guys. Jimbo here, and today we have a video that I've tried recording multiple times, but due to some poor luck on my end, it has not gone well either time. Today, we are going to be talking about the Storm's Fury event. Now, this is a new event that has been added with the 10.0.5 update, which we recently have gotten, and it's very similar and may even be a little bit confusing to newer players as to what the difference between this event is and the current Storm event that we were already having going all along the Dragon Isles. This event takes place specifically in the Temporal Conflux, and most people might not even know where that is if you haven't been taking a serious look at these areas, or maybe you've forgotten because there's never really any reason to go there other than your initial storyline. Granted, some people still do go there for the Trial of Elements, but if you don't know about that, then really I can't think of another reason why you might be in this area. So, without further ado, we're going to take a look here and see what exactly it is that we're looking at with this event. So the reason this event was hard for me to get footage of is because it's on a timer, and it's a pretty long gap in between the timer too. This event takes place every 3 to 5 hours, I believe. Can be completed whenever and as many times as you would like, as long as the event is up. Of course, like the other events, like the Siege on Dragonbane Keep and the Grand Hunts and the Community Feasts, you do it the first time to get the biggest reward, and after that, it's going to scale down. So the first time you do it, you will get a purple Primalist cache, and then the times after that, they will go down to blue, like you see here. I've already completed this when the event started at the week. So you're going to want to come over here down into Thaldraszus, and you're going to come down to this hourglass looking figure, and you will see if the quest is active if it's on your map right here. If you don't see this icon right here that says the Storm's Fury, that means that the quest is not going on. Now, this event does not take place right where this marker is placed. Well, it does actually take place right where the marker is placed, but it doesn't take place when the marker is placed. Are you confused by that? Most people probably are. So this is where we are on the map. You'll see this here. We also got our Razagath skin this week in our raid, so that's pretty cool. If you come over here to this platform, you will see a portal. So what this portal does is it will transport you to another time, and this is going to be called the Primalist Future. So we're going to go into this portal here, and in this portal is a different timeline, and in this timeline is when this quest is taking place. It's a little bit of a quality of life feature that it shows up on the main map before you go into the portal that the event is taking place, because a lot of other things that happen in here, like the Trial of Elements, they do not show up on the main map. They only show up on the map inside of this area. So when you come to the area, you're going to get a map that looks like this, right? This is the map of the area, and you're going to see that there are 4 portals, and there's also the Storm's Fury boss right here. Let's close out the text here. She's trying to talk over me. You hear that? So what you're going to have to do is kill this boss, but you cannot kill the boss right away because he is locked up. They are locked up and frozen or behind a barrier. So what you need to do is you're going to need to deactivate each of these portals. And when all 4 portals are deactivated at the same time, then the boss will become available to fight. Once you kill the boss, you'll be rewarded with the loot cache. You get... There we go. So you can highlight over here to see which ones are disabled. So this is a disabled elemental portal. This one, and it just became disabled. That means somebody is down there working on the mission right now. And you'll see that these 3 are still active. So when we go over here, we're going to go into one of these portals and we're going to fight off the invasion and hopefully close that portal. It works on like a timer. So you have to keep the enemies at bay and then the timer goes down. If you do leave, they can reactivate the portal. So it does require a little bit of cooperation or just high enough damage that you can get through all of the portals before the enemies start trying to reactivate a closed one, and then the boss become available. You do get some of the other rewards that you used to get from the other events. It's going to be such as the Why can I not think of the name of it right now? Let's take a look in here and see. The Elemental Overflow. So you'll get Elemental Overflow, you will get Storm Sigils, and you're going to get a new currency that is specific for this event called the Essence of the Storm. And this Essence of the Storm is going to be able to be used at the vendor over here. And you will see that all of their items cost Elemental Overflow and Essence of the Storm together. There are mounts. See here. There are pets. There. And then there are toys, which you can't see what that is, but we've watched a video on this, and it has a rain cloud that kind of follows you around everywhere, exactly as the name would imply, the Chasing Storm. And then there's also some 389 items here. While for most people who have been playing since the beginning of the launch, this isn't going to be very useful. But if you're leveling up in ult, this is a really good item level for some trinkets, necks, and fingers. This can really boost up your item level while leveling up in ult. And then also, as far as I'm aware, you get some pretty good experience while you're doing these too. A lot of elite mobs and recurring enemies that keep coming back. So this would be a good way to farm and not only get your currency up, but also being able to level ults and get some pretty cool gear in the meantime. Now, I haven't gotten one yet, but I have heard that there's also cosmetics that you can get in the caches, and they are random and relatively low drop chance. So these would be cosmetics for transmogs, like weapons and armor and stuff like that. So we're going to go down and take a look here. So let's see, this one is still disabled, and these ones are still enabled. So let's take a look and see if we can find which one players are fighting at currently. It looks like there's no players here currently, right? Oh yeah, there they go. So we're going to hang out at this one, and we're going to wait for the portal to become deactive. You'll see that the name will change on it when it does. Oh, it did. It must have just happened. So we're going to go over to this one now. Here we go. So there's a bunch of us here, so it shouldn't be too hard to do. We're going to pull the mobs, and we're going to just probably try to AoE them all down. I don't think they're too incredibly strong here. Try to group them all up. We can get a good I-beam in here. If you played other games that have like a capture the flag or capture the zone rather, it's very similar to that. You just have to stay in the area. You can't just kill the mobs and run away. You do have to stay in the area for it to become deactive. And if any enemies do come into the area, it stops that progression bar from going on. So we'll kill these guys here. And you can see this bar over here kind of moving. See, it's almost all the way down. One more tick, it looks like. Oh, it's going to get us with the one more. That might be as low as it goes there. Let's see if it says deactive. It doesn't say deactive yet. Oh, and somebody has already disabled this one down here for us. Oh, so we got one more group of mobs coming in. Misclicked my keys there. So it seems like there was another group of players that was already deactivating the other portal. So now we'll be able to attack the boss. You may have seen the boss up here earlier. It had the yellow shields around it, and now you can see it's available to be attacked. So this is going to take a while. As you can see, the enemy has 76 million health. That is a lot of health. Oh, I'm sorry. It's up to 80-something million here. When you have a big group of people, it's not all that terrible. But it's definitely a longer fight than your average rare mob that you find around the World of Dragon Isles. Now, there is also another mechanic that works with this, and we'll highlight up over here. There it is, freezing. So you see we have a debuff up there. It's called freezing. This is going to make you take a sustained damage. And you get stacks of freezing. Now, these stacks of freezing can be negated by another ability called warmth. Right? Makes sense. Let's get our rotation off on him here real quick, and then we'll go talk about how you get warmth. Get one more death sweep in there and an annihilation. So you get warmth by picking up these things here called the fragment of Vim. There we go. So every fragment that you pick up should give you 1 stack of warmth. And then if you read the items and the modifiers on the items for the unique items that you get for these events, you'll see that they have unique abilities specifically tied to the freeze and warmth mechanics. So if you're going to be specifically farming this for whatever reason, it might be worth it to have those for an alternate item set to make sure that you're not taking additional damage that you don't need to be taking during these. Because there might not always be a good healer around to keep you topped off. Now, you do want to focus the little ads, and this is a recurring theme in most World of Warcraft content. If there is a big boss with a lot of chunky health, and then there's a bunch of little ads that are all around, usually it's a good idea to kill the little ads as fast as possible. It's usually some sort of a mechanic, with the more ads that you kill or more damage you deal to the small ads, the more effective the damage is on the boss. This is going to change little by little depending on the specific fight that you're in, but it normally has some kind of effect on the boss. So we're going to keep fighting down the little ads here, and you can see his health is going down pretty quick. I'm taking a lot of damage here. We may end up dying. I'm going to hit a darkness, see if I can mitigate that at all, and it didn't happen. So we'll just get right back in. The good thing about dying in this area is you don't have to recover your body. You just automatically respawn up at the top. You see we're still dealing damage to him with a damage over time effect. And we'll just get right back in there. And start targeting the little ads again. Don't stand in the circles. Don't get hit by the balls. These are all very normal mechanics that you should be very used to and playing World of Warcraft. These things never change. Don't stand in the things. Very rarely do you actually want to stand in the thing. So there we go. So world quest complete, the Storm's Fury. And now you'll be able to loot the enemy. Boom. We got 6 Essence of the Storm. Let's fly back up to the top so we don't aggro anything else here. And we'll take a look at our items. One of these days, I remember what my hotkeys are too. So you see here, we did get the Primalist Cache. It just gets added straight into your inventory. And we open that up. We got some Dragon Isle supplies, 3 Essence of the Storm, and 104 gold. Now, we did pick up another item here, which I was hoping that we would get doing this so we could talk about it, and that is the Coalesced Storm Remnants. So this item begins a quest. I don't believe it drops every time. I don't think I got it my first time when I did this week, so we do have it again here. And as normal, it pops up in your quests line over there. So what you're going to do is, all you need to do is drop this off at the NPC, and he will give you 10 extra Essences of the Storms. Now, this doesn't only drop from the boss. This does drop from numerous enemies that are in the area. So if you're just farming enemies, there is a chance for this to drop. I never found more than 1 in the week so far, but this event is pretty new, so it is possible, maybe, that if you farm enough, you can get multiples of these. That I'm unsure about. So we're going to turn it into the NPCs right over here. There we go. And get our Essences of the Storm. Now, if you look on Wowhead and Blue Posts and stuff like that, it does say that the Essence of the Storm is a currency, just like the other currencies that we have. But you will notice that it does not show up in your currency tab. Only the Elemental Overflow does. And it does show up in your bags instead. So do be aware of that. You will need to, if you're trying to keep track of these, they will be in 2 different places. So we do have 34 currently, which means that we could buy a cache if we wanted to. Now, this gives us alternate or more chances of getting the cosmetics, the transmogs, if that's what we were looking for. But I think I do want to save mine up. I'm actually more interested in the toy than anything else. I don't really care for the whole pet system in the game. While I do like the mounts, this mount in particular just isn't really the one for me. But with enough farming, I'm sure I'm going to end up getting everything in here. Main focus being the toy first. I think that's all there is for that right now. That is the Storm's Fury event, and that's how you get it done. I'm glad I was able to get it done this time because, like I said, I tried this a couple of times previously, and while I was setting up, trying to get things ready to get the recording done, the event had ended, so I was a little SOL there. Now, you can set a timer. We know that this event just ended now, so it should be, I believe, another 3 hours. It'll start again if you want to farm it and keep it on a timer like that. The last I checked, it had not been added to the to-do list, the Dragonflight helper. But I think if it has a timer that is trackable, it may be added on there soon. That list is being updated all the time, so you do want to make sure you stay up to date on that in terms of your weak auras and add-ons. Well, guys, that's all I got today. I'm trying to make a PvP video coming up here soon with some solo shuffle action, but if anybody plays PvP and tries to do solo shuffle as a DPS, you know that those queues are like 25 to 30 minutes long a piece. So I'm doing the best I can there. I'm also a little confused at how the rating system works for a solo shuffle. I actually just sent out a tweet for this if you guys want to check it out, but I was in a solo shuffle match. My rating was lower than the average rating of the lobby. I was tied for most kills. I had the most damage. I had the most non-healer healing. I won 50% of my rounds. And somehow it was a no rating change for me. So I'm not exactly sure how that works. After waiting in a 30-minute queue, it didn't feel very good. But I do like the solo shuffle system, and I do want to play more of it. I do hope they incentivize it more for healers, so that way the queues can be a little bit faster. Or maybe it's a good way for them, I've said this before, implement a 3v3 DPS, right? No healers involved, so that way the healer queue isn't a burden on the DPS queue. Now, I'm not saying get rid of the healers queue, right? If there's healers in queue, put them in, of course. But not a bad way to clear out that queue of people that have been waiting for 15, 20 minutes to just do a 3v3 DPS only situation. That's my opinion on it, guys. I don't really know what else to say on that subject. That is a developer problem, not a player problem. So that is for them to figure out. And hey, if it's anything like everything else that's been going on in Dragonflight, I'm convinced they're going to figure it out. They've been on top of things with this expansion. Overall, it's been a huge W for, I think, almost everybody. There's only a little tiny complaints I can come up with here and there, and honestly, it is nitpicking at best. I am really enjoying my time in this expansion, and I hope you guys are too. Let me know down in the comments if everything is good to go for you guys. Is there anything with the expansion in general that you guys are not enjoying? Is this event something that you guys are interested in? And what is it that you're looking forward to, I guess, in the future patches coming up? I personally am really looking forward to the Rep Paladin rework that they're talking about in 10.0.7. And I would love to see how they do that, because Rep Paladin is up there with some of my favorite specs. Pretty much any two-handed bonk class is something I'm really a fan of. Old Enhancement Shaman, if anybody remembers that, when you used to be able to Wind Fury, slow two-handed weapons, and just one-shot people. Those were the days, man. Not anymore now. Not anymore. Guys, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate you guys watching the videos, and I will see you all later. Adios, muchachos.